My name is Dr. Rufus Jemerson, and I am the author of The Mental Slavery That Undermines Self-Reliance, Unity and Development Among African Americans, Volume 1. The book is available at Amazon.com under Books. This volume looks at the intergenerational condition caused by slavery, racism, and its continuous implicit bias. This post-traumatic slave disorder is a form of post-traumatic stress disorder that causes self-destructive breakdowns in Black Americans' mental and physical health, destroys their relationships, leads to higher intra-racial violence, that is, Black-on-Black crime, and significantly lower levels or quality of life and longevity. Black Americans are left with epidemic self-hatred and enormous love of those that oppress them regardless of race. As victims of the Stockholm Syndrome, Black Americans identify with and reflect the behavior of their abusers. In other words, they are more prone to take on and act upon white racial bias against other blacks and sexually abuse family members. The pathway to healthier outcomes to break the bonds of mental slavery begin with the acknowledgement of its effects on our psyche, health, relationships, and ability to unite with others of similar interests to solve socioeconomic problems that continue to undermine our progress. I'm offering a $10 rebate for readers who complete a 200 or more worded review and send it to rojimerson@gmail.com with your name and address. That's rojimerson@gmail.com. Alright, I'm going to show you some of the images that are included in the book, and stories, factual stories, alright, are given an account explaining what these images mean in regards to the mental slavery imposed on African Americans. The first of these is this: underwater sculpture of slaves thrown overboard during the Middle Passage. Obviously, these blacks, this is a sculpture anyway, but they symbolize those who resisted and their mistreatment during the passage, were thrown overboard. Obviously, this would affect those that stayed on board and lived to be enslaved in the New World, and it would be imprinted in their DNA and carried on intergenerationally to their descendants And so we'll look at that. We are the descendants of those, but we're descendants of kings and queens before that, and the book goes into that too as well. Intergenerational trauma and memories are printed in the DNA, and that is explained in the book. What is the definition of mental slavery? Mental slavery is the worst form of slavery. It gives you the illusion of freedom. It makes you trust, love, and defend your oppressor while making an enemy of those who are trying to free you or open up your eyes. This book tries to provide some guidance on opening your eyes, being awakening oneself to the mental slavery that's imposed by racism and the continuation of the racial animus. Slaves thrown overboard during the Middle Passage. All right, some more of those photos are there, images are there, and the background stories. Minds of enslaved. There are 5 minds. It identifies 5 minds of the enslaved: the revolutionary, the misguided, self-hating, ignorant of the struggle and the culture, the real culture, those seeking convenience. Martin Luther King is quoted here and in the book, and he mentions, as long as the mind is enslaved, the body can never be free. Psychological freedom, make sure you can see that it's up there, freedom and firm sense of self-esteem is the most powerful weapon against the long night of physical slavery. Obviously, the words way it's being shown, you may be backwards, but you want it forwards, you have to read the book. A slave demanding that blue lives really matter. Okay. Here we have how government, this depiction, how government assistance destroys our families, separating the fathers from their spouse and their children. What this book does is look into Hollywood as well as television, but in the first volume it looks specifically into Hollywood and finds that most of the actors, 3/4 of the actors are white. The whites are overrepresented. Those people of color are underrepresented. And those that are represented, the upper portion of this will show you, black actors are typecast to slaves and servants and buddies. White actors are cast in roles that are actually held by black African kings and queens. This is what Malcolm has to say about mental slavery. If you're not careful, the newspaper, now we're talking about more online, electronic media, will have you hating the people who are being oppressed and loving the people who are doing the oppressing. Malcolm X. So, therefore, please pick up and read Dr. Rufus O. Jimerson, The Mental Slavery That Undermines Self-Reliance, Unity, and Development Among African Americans, Volume 1. You'll find the book is available at Amazon.com under books. You have to go online, Amazon.com under books. And please take advantage of the rebate where you can get $10 off the cost of the book from the author by sending a 200 word or more review to his email as given. Thank you very much.